we'll look at another small problems. So as I said before, the purpose of this series is to just tackle one small problem bit by bit, bite-sized problems that we face daily as a data analyst or data scientists, and just kind of tackle through that. So it's not the thoroughest video or the most in-depth video that you're looking on the YouTube, because there are a lot of other people who are doing that. But these are the small things that that I've encountered on daily basis, which will help you do a better job. So yeah, so for example, today what we're looking at, for example, I've got three files. Each file is has a table in it. The table header is the same, but the problem is the table header is located at different positions. So for example, this sheet number one has random rows inserted here. So this is a very real life scenario. For example, you download the data from different websites, and sometimes the data is not in the very or not in the at the particular location. And I find it very often that when you're trying to aggregate monthly or daily data, it's usually at different positions. So this trick or this piece of code kind of comes really handy. So like we start, so this is the code. I've left it for you guys, so you can kind of copy it, and if you don't want to listen to me, you can just kind of copy this code and use it. So at the start, what we do, like we did in the previous video, we make a data frame for the combined data that we have, and we create an empty data frame. It's a data frame type, so that that later we can concat everything or append everything into that. Since I'm in the same folder, I don't have to give the link, but if you want to read all of the Excel sheet, and process, to be honest, is really the same for CSV and JSON files as well. So you would say for I in glob dot let me do it like that, glob dot glob. So the process for using or reading multiple spreadsheets, I've explained it in another video. Feel free to just go through the links and you'll find that, or go through my kind of profile on YouTube and you'll find that. So what you do is, like, you're iterating through all of these. If you know Python, static means that read all of the files. XLSX means all of the file ending with this extension, which is Excel extension. Your data frame will be pd.read_excel. If you read if you're reading CSV file, it will be read_CSV. For JSON file, it's the same as like JSON extension, and you read the file. Till here, the code is very simple. So you're going through everything that you all of the files, and you're reading everything. But what will happen if I just run this code? It will not only import the tables, but it will import the rows that we don't want. For example, these random rows as well, and we don't want that. So we only want the table behind those rows. So that's why what you need to do is you need to specify the location in Python to read those tables. So for that, we will say that for row in range df.shape 0, that is basically your rows, and for columns in range df.shape 1, and so if you want to read more about shapes and shape function, you can kind of look it up on YouTube, and you'll find a ton of information there. So I'm just saving time not explaining that. But basically what this is kind of finding the rows, going through all of the rows, and this is going through all of the columns. And we are saying that if df dot iat is row or row dash column is equal to, and now you need to pass in the string. So for example, wherever, as I said, my tables have same column header, so you need to pass on the first value of the cell from where your table is starting, so they start reading, it starts reading your table from there. So that is row number. So I'll go and I'll write on that. So if your row, if your because it's a string, so you need to use double is equal to sign. So if your column value or a cell value is row number, then what you need to do is that will be your row start. Yeah, and then you break the code, and then after that your data frame will be equal to df dot lock, and over here you will put the row start. So basically your data frame starts from here, and after that you need to get everything from there. So for example, from this cell, you want to take all of those cells where there is any particular value, and that's why I'm putting the colon here, so that it starts reading everything. But if you want to read any specific number of columns, you can kind of specify there, like 3 or perhaps something else. So this piece of code will read your data frame, and once you've done that, then you can kind of append that. So you will say your all data will be equal to all data dot append and df, and then ignore index is equal to true. And now if you look at that, what will happen is that your all underscore data should reflect all of these. So basically it has merged all of the files, even the one that was starting from the random rows, but it is reading the data from here. And as I explained before, a quick kind of tip to, because as you saw in this, what's happening is that it is treating the title of the table as a row, and what we need to define is, like, we need to tell Python that keep the first row as the title of the data frame, and you can do it very easily. Right after here you can say that, okay, so, or rather I can copy it from here, because I've explained it in the previous videos. So you'll say that your new header is your first row, and your data frame starts from row 1 and onwards, or second row and onwards, and then your data from columns are basically is equal to new header. So if I just copy that and paste it there, it should do that. Yeah, and all underscore data, if you look at that, see, now you've got your row number, date, customer number, and reason as title, and the rest of the data has come underneath. But now there is another problem, and that is that we discussed yesterday, and that is, if you look at these variables, your date is your Python is considering date as an object, which is a string object. So if you want to convert that, you would ideally want to convert that here as well. So for example, if you want to just use a small function, which is like your df date is equal to pd dot do underscore date time, and your column, your date column basically, and that should do the trick. Whoa. Okay, what is saying? I should copy paste. Yeah, that for pd dot end time df dot date. Oh yeah, because I used the square brackets instead of the curly brackets, because pd dot to underscore date time is a function. So if you do that, then you are there. And now if you check all data dot date types, and your date is in the right format. And that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, subscribe to my channel, and I'll keep on posting similar snippets like this every day. And cheers, bye bye.